I can use strong. If both are same, then why you have two options for that? That is one basic thing. Let's see first how to use them. Actual concept is, first font option is, this will set size, family and color. So syntactically, font have font face. We can put Arial, size and color. And you know your text and close the font. So face is any family name, font family name. Size 1 to 7 levels we can give. Color is, so color code or name, you can use anything. Because it is HTML, you can apply any. So to change the character appearance, you can apply this font face, size, color and all. So let's see how it works. Suppose I want to set appearance for, this is the font. Okay, so we are having some text. I will just add a new text format, HTML. And in this, we are adding some text. So I just have some paragraph, some welcome to HTML. I want to change the appearance of that particular text. I want to change appearance. Then what we do, enclose this text inside font. Now you see there is nothing special. Font have size. Font size can be 1 to 7. We have 7 levels. Gradually 1 to 7 level font size will increase. So if I give 7, that is the max 7. So actual question here is, why 7 levels are there? Why not 8, 9, 10? Why only 7? If anybody asks like that, right? Because sometimes in interviews, it may look like not reasonable, but that's also a reasonable question. Why 7? Why not 6? Why not 8? Is there any meaning for that 7? Actually, levels are means generally font size means we give the size like SM. SM is small. So we have MD is medium. LG is large. So XL, that is little more larger. So that means we use XXL. So we have XXLL. Like that we have different levels. They have different levels. Actually, these there is one level called normal level. These they represent in 7 levels. 7 levels. So that means you have like small, large, medium. These you will see everywhere in CSS later, right? That is the reason the default levels are defined using these styles. These are the level names. These we represent using numbers. Actually, normal is its size is 3. That means default font size is how much? 3. So this is suppose 4. This is the size. So we have like 3. That is the size. Even I don't give 3. Default it is same because that is the default size. You can give font size some 5. And remember, it depends on where you end it. That means this tag is ending here. So if you want to end after the W, it will apply only for that. Because sometimes people ask like, sir, I want only one letter, one word. Where you end, it will end. Stop there. You end at letter, that letter will come. Word will come. Sentence. Wherever you want, you can define. And font size, font face. Face is family name. Family name is what? Arial, something like this. So color is some color. So color is #F0F. It will put some color. These are font related options we have. So we can configure the font by using those techniques. Face, size, another one color. But here some important questions are there. First important question that you face regularly is, what are web safe fonts in HTML? What are web safe fonts in HTML? This is one regularly seen question in interviews. Like, what are web safe fonts? What is meaning of web safe font? Web safe font is nothing but, actual the point is, I am using a font family name Arial. I am using this font family Arial. So where I got this name? How I know this? Simply like that, anything you can use? No. In your computer, you have some fonts already available. And from that list, we are using a font. Already I showed you in a control panel. In control panel, you can get the font names. So if you go and see the PC of a DTP operator, DTP operators who design visiting cards, greeting cards, banners, posters, and all. If you go and see their computer, in their control panel, if you see, you will find thousands of fonts. They buy fonts, they purchase fonts and install in their PC for different banners, styles, effects. They have different fonts. They buy fonts. People buy fonts actually. So now the question, what is the question? What does this question means is, in your computer, you have one font. You applied that to a web page. Now the question is, how another user on his computer he can see the same? That means you are using internet. In your computer, what you have, you applied it. If a person who is watching from somewhere else, he need to see the same style. In his computer also, it must be there. Now, what is this question means? This question means that if a font you use is not available on his device, then what will happen? Will it display the text? Question understood? Huh? You used a font, that font is not available on his machine. Then how he will watch? Will it display for him? Yes, it will display. But that font is not there. Then how it will display? So it will use some default font. That is what we call WebSafe font. That font is called WebSafe. You are calling default. Na? What is default? Default means automatically it is choosing one font to display that content. The question in interview is what is that? What is that font? Which font it uses as default? So those are called web safe fonts. It is using as default means every device will use it. Every device will use that font as default font. What is that default font? So the default fonts, that means web safe fonts. So they are the default fonts used for presenting your content. They are the default fonts used for presenting your content. So, and what they are? Serif, sans serif, and monospace. These three are called web safe fonts because every device, every computer will have a font called serif or sans serif or monospace. And actually, they are read-only fonts. They are not deleted. They are not deleted. That means you can't delete. Actually, some fonts that we install, we can delete them. But these fonts cannot be deleted. There is no chance. These are read-only. And every device will have them. So what will happen? All belongs to same family. Serif, sans serif, monospace, all are same family, but different names. So what is the question? If I am using a font and that font is not available on his device, how he will watch it? By using serif or sans serif or monospace. These are called web safe fonts. Now the next question is, no, he should watch exactly like how I designed. Then he should watch exactly how I designed. Then you have to send the fonts also along with page. We have to send the fonts along with page. Just like how you send icons along with page. How you send icons? In his computer, he don't have icons, but he can see icons. How you are sending? By linking a CSS file. Na? Similarly, fonts also have links. You can link the font file so that everywhere it is available. But actually, majority of the font files, they are CDN files. I already told you, na, CDN means they will be delivered from the servers. So that means you see, actual, we have a Google Fonts. Google Fonts is very popular. Actually, we buy fonts also in different websites we buy. For example, I told you Font Awesome. These Font Awesome people also, the people who sell the fonts. And you see these people sell the fonts. They sell the fonts. You can buy the fonts and you can use them. Icons, fonts, these people sell. You can use them. So actually, it is already being used by some people like this. These are all people using them. And actual Google have fonts library. You see, Google fonts are there. You see, Google fonts. These are all Google fonts. Hundreds of fonts they will provide. Different fonts they provide. Now, what a developer have to do? A developer have to select which font he wants. They will give a API for that. We have to link that API into our page that you will see later in CSS and all, how to do that, right? So that means if you want the user to watch your design exactly how you design, means especially fonts, then you have to send the fonts. You have to send the fonts. So this is the default fonts it is what, right? So I hope you are clear what are web safe fonts. Web safe refers to the standard fonts, the default fonts. And these are the names of those web safe fonts. Okay. Now another important note is that So do not use font element in modern web design. It is there. You may see some old applications, projects using them, but don't use this. That means I am saying that don't use it. You learnt about it, just remember it, but don't use it. What you do, you apply through CSS. Because the modern browsers, they, with some browsers, they don't recognize this element. It is not recommended anymore in the modern. But old projects, old versions still may be using. But we, in the modern, we don't recommend. So you should know that there is such option, because you may see that in some old projects, but we don't recommend to use this anymore. So that's the reason you learn, but don't use it. So don't use it. I will show you here. See, suppose we will open Amazon. In this Amazon we are opening. In this Amazon, actually lot of design is there. Obviously lot of fonts they are using. They are using different fonts here. Let's see. Right click, inspect. And when I inspect, you can see this is the container, means this is the design. And what I am doing here is in this. Yeah. So in this, I am finding Control F. Actually, Control F is for find. I am finding. What I am finding? I am finding a font tag. That means I am using a font token. So these are div tokens. I am using div. And see, I am searching for div tag and see how many divs found. 1325 divs are found inside this page. This page has 1300 divs. Okay. Let's search for font 0. How come so many effects of text and there is no font? That means so many styles of appearance, different sizes are there, different styles are there, but you are saying no font is used. So of course, that's what we are saying. It is not recommended, right? That means in the modern, it is not. Some old websites you may find it, right? You may find it, because see, web is transforming into latest versions. That means it doesn't mean that what you know is latest. It is, that means what latest you know will be used by company. So majority companies still work on old projects, old versions only. Because you are a learner, you are very excited about new versions, you will learn new versions, but companies immediately will not use. Because already they started project, designing it, working on it. In between some versions are released, they will not switch to them until or unless client wants to upgrade. So they will design in old versions. So you learned suppose Java, .NET, PHP, Python like technologies, latest version. But in companies you will see still they are using old. Why? Because that's enough for their requirements. So you have an idea of latest. So then in future they will migrate to latest, right? So that is the reason in the modern designs. So better avoid this. Don't use this font option. Next, we have so many font styles and effects. Bold, italic. So, and now the question here is, I will show here. Let's see. That means this we understood about the font we understood. So I am writing here a div. So font bold, B is bold, is similar to strong. That is strong. I'm just using that word. Okay. In the next line, So font style I is what? Italic, is similar to EM. EM is what? Emphasize, emphasize, emphasize. Okay. Now here we have another one. So the effect U is for what? Underline. Underline is similar to INS. INS is inserted. I am giving another option. The effect strike. Strike. Oh, so this is strike. The effect strike actually, strike is similar to what? Del. Del is what? Deleted. And you can observe that all look same. That means bold and strong are same. Italic emphasize is same. Underline inserted is same. Strike deleted is same. Then why you have two for same? That is very often asked question, like what is B, what is strong? Why you have two for the same appearance? Right? So the question, the point here is, for example, underline, inserted, deleted, strike out, emphasized, strong. Why you have so many? Because just I will show the point. Suppose I am using a documenting tool like MS Word. Why I am using this MS Word? Because MS Word is a documentation tool and HTML is also documentation. So in this documentation tool, I am typing. So welcome to HTML. It is a language. It is used to present on any browser, something like this. Now the point is, you designed a document. In this document, 100, 200 pages are there. You saved it and so you left it. Somebody opened the document and somewhere they made some modifications. Is it possible for you to know where they modified? Is it possible for you to know where they modified? Of course, it is possible, right? What do you think? You know MS Word completely? No. After all, you may know only 4 5% of it. Only 4 5%. That itself you may think like I know too much, right? You know software like MS Excel, right? Suppose you see this is Excel software. It is Excel. This is Excel actually, MS Excel. Suppose if anybody asked you like how much time it may take for me to learn Excel, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days. There is 4 years diploma in Excel. 4 years diploma in Excel. That Excel is a very huge finance management tool also. You know, Excel have coding. You see, Excel uses coding. It uses a language called Visual Basic, right? That means what you know about Excel is just rows and columns, some formulas, but it is a very huge finance management tool. So technically, these tools are very huge and they have all the facilities. Do you know we buy MS Office? You may got a free MS Office with your laptops, but you companies buy MS Office because they want to utilize all the features of it. And of course, this is a simple thing. Somebody designed a document, someone else opened it and modified. How come I don't know where he modified? That means there is a facility for that. How? For example, see now, in your MS Word, there is a review option. There will be a review option. I will go to review. and I will say here track changes. I will enable track changes. Actually, you can even put passwords, everything. When I enable track changes, observe carefully. It is a language. It is a markup language. Some word markup is missing. Then what I am doing is, so here I am inserting some new word and see what happens. Inserted word is displayed with underline. So what is the meaning of underline? What is the meaning of underline? In review mode, currently documents are in two modes. One design mode, another one review. You designed in design mode. Somebody is using in a review mode. That means you already designed, he is reviewing. While reviewing, he need to tell some changes. He need to tell some changes saying that actually you designed this, you have some changes to do. And while reviewing, you see markup. Markup is underlined because it indicates that it is inserted. Okay. Any browser, I want to remove any. When I remove, it will be strikeout. Means it is deleted. It is deleted. Now, when you see, actually, when I move the mouse, you see it shows inserted markup admin at what time, which date, who inserted. Everybody knows. That means I can even know who inserted it, where he inserted, at what time he inserted, everything we can. And somebody deleted here, deleted. And what he deleted, any. And what happens is, now you understood that every document have two modes. One is design, another one review. In review mode, to highlight any contents, in review mode to highlight any contents, like here you need to insert something, here you need to delete something. Then what our review people do is, they use some special tags for that. They will use some special tags for that. While designing, to highlight, we will use bold, italic, underline, strikeout, we will use them. But in review, to tell us that these are not necessary, please remove them. So these are necessary, please add them. For that, what other developers will do is, reviewer means he is a senior. What he does, he reviews your document and he says that please do these changes. And for that, remember, he cannot do the changes. He can just tell you what changes to be done. Then for that, what he will do, he will use another set of tags. Some set of tokens are for design, some set of tokens are for review. And remember, finally, once it get back to you, what you have to do, you have to remove what he has done, and according to his suggestion, you need to finally prepare the document. So what are these means? Observe carefully. After anybody making changes, there is an option accept change, reject change. What I can do, I can simply go to reject and say reject all changes. Then it will reject all the changes. Or I can review every change and I can accept some changes, I can reject some changes. So why I explained this? Because that is what actually HTML is doing. That means HTML bold is used for designing, strong is used for reviewing. That means italic is used designing, this is for reviewing. That is why you saw strikeout. Strikeout means which one? Deleted. In review, deleted is equal to strikeout. So underline is what? Inserted. In review, it is inserted. So for reviewing, we have a separate set of tags. So that what is the main purpose of reviewer is he highlights. He highlights and tells us that please do these changes. And remember, finally, when we are publishing a website, we have to make sure that in that page, these review elements are not there. Understood? These review elements are not there. Review elements are not there. So finally, when you are publishing, make sure that in that review elements are not there. Only design elements are there. Review elements are not for users, final publishing. They are only meant for design. Design time only, we will identify the changes, we will identify the suggestions they have made to make the corrections in our content. Generally, why you need these kind of things? Because actually, if you remembered, I told you about wiki. You remember? Wiki means what? You designed and anybody can modify. And when he modified, immediately will you save whatever he modified? No, we review it. We review it. After reviewing, we will save. So that is the reason you don't worry about strong, emphasized, inserted, deleted. You just use B for bold, I for italic, and U for underline, and strike for strike. Strike. That is, others are for review. Others are for review. So this is another very popular regular question asked in interview is, another question is, what is difference between INS, means all are same, INS and U. Similarly, bold, italic, emphasize, strike out, del, everything is same. What is the difference? So INS is a review element to, to highlight, inserted content. Inserted content. And what is U? U is a design element for highlighting content. That is what the same difference for others also. Strike, del, bold, strong, emphasize, italic. Right. So these are all the options. And of course, SUB is nothing but superscript and subscript. Superscript, subscript means how to use them is, suppose we are having HSUB to SUB close and O. That means it will show to load from baseline. So suppose X SUB SUP super, or I simply say fifth SUP superscript TH SUP close. That means it shows fifth TH raised from baseline. Superscript raise from baseline, subscript lower from baseline. Those are the effects. This is the text formatting. That is the text formatting option we are having. I will copy this example roughly. This is one example. You can add this just roughly, you can see here. Suppose I say some 5th anniversary like this, and usually it is going to display normal. TH must be raised from baseline. Then what we do? For TH, we have to use what? SUP, superscript. Then it will be raised from the baseline. So load from baseline, subscript raised from baseline, that is super. That's a simple concept. These all comes under what? This all comes under text formatting. How you handle text format. Font, size, colors, styles, everything we can apply by using that. Next important, after understanding this text formatting, we have so lists, different types of lists in HTML. We have different types of lists in HTML. So the basic first important, you have a data list. We have a data list. It is a collection. It is a collection of terms and definitions. It is a collection of terms and definitions. List is defined with DL, data list. Terms are defined with DT. Definitions are defined using DD, data definition. Syntactically, data list will have a data term. This is term 1. And data definition. So definition. Data definition. We have another data term, term 2. We have definition. So DD, data list. This is a data list with terms and definitions. So generally, how you design this data list, let's see. It requires a lot of styling also to make a good appearance for them. Some more options you will see here. For example, let's say when we are creating a list of terms and definitions, usually this is very important. In this page, let's say in this page, we are creating, so HTML, it is a markup language. CSS, it configures styles. Like this, we are having some content. So JavaScript, so it manipulates DOM. Okay. Actually, here I am having a collection of some terms and definitions. We have some terms and definition. HTML is a term and this is its definition. So CSS is a term and this is its definition. So what we do is all terms and definitions are kept in DL. We will keep in data list. Now in this DL, this is a term. Terms are defined with DT. And this is a definition. Definition is defined inside DD. And CSS is a data term. And this is the definition, DD. JavaScript is a data term. And this is what? Data definition. And you will see that by default, terms and definitions have a different indentation. All terms in one place, definitions in another place, automatically it has some placement. So we will keep some styling here. Wherever data term is there, font weight as bold, then that will display like this. Under one term, you can have several definitions. I'm using more. background color is black, color is white, padding is padding is some 5 pixel, and you see all the terms will be in this way. Suppose I am giving entire data list as width as 500 pixel, then it will fit like this, 400 pixel. And important, under every term there can be several definitions, means another dd, so it is used for presentation. Then you can see this is another data definition. You can have separate effects for definition. Suppose what I am doing here, dd data definition, background color as light gray, and padding as 5 pixel, and we have margin top as 5 pixel. Then it will display in this way, margin bottom also 5 pixel. Then it will have some gap. These are terms and definitions. There can be a lengthy paragraph under every term, all terms in one way, all definitions in another way. So these are terms and definitions. Actually we use in different see, you can have only terms also multiple. Suppose css and styles, and you can see both are same. You can have multiple terms, one definition. You can have one term, multiple definitions anyway. So for example, what I will do, for every term, I will give margin bottom also 5 pixel. Some terms also have some gap. So this is one way of how you are presenting your content. For example, you see application forms, registration forms. One speciality about these terms and definition, I will copy this example. One speciality about terms and definition is, terms and definitions are predefined for grid. They are ready-made, designed for grid. If you are using only one term, one definition, then it is a best suitable one for grid. That means, for example, what is the specialty of data list is, it can arrange all terms in one column. It can arrange all definitions in another column. For example, see what I am doing here. For example, let's say where you will see this more differently is, suppose I am saying we are creating some form, data term, some username, data definition. Here we need to enter some username. Later you will see how to design drop downs, text box, check box and all. Temporarily, I will use a input. Later you will learn about input. Now what we are doing here, another data type. So username, password, I'm using an input. Just use input. I'm using suppose age. I'm using input like this. I'm using. So we have email. So we are using input we will learn later in forms, and you see all these are terms and definitions. Now what is the specialty here is, the specialty is actually data list I can display as grid. Data list can be displayed as grid, and the grid template columns, terms in one column, definitions in another column. Suppose terms I will give 3 fractions, and definitions how many fractions, so 9 fractions I given, then it will distribute in this way. And better you keep same padding, same margin, that will be helpful, because terms and definitions should have same padding, then it will be easy, huh? So what is the padding? Margin top, margin bottom. Here also I will give margin top. Margin top also 5 pixel. Then it will keep everything in uniform way. This is multiple columns. Suppose for terms, what I am doing are definitions. For definitions, I am not using any background color, then it will be like this, right? So later you will learn about how to design the forms, but actually these are all easily designed using data list. Data list is good for arranging content side by side easily, because data list comes with terms and definitions and they automatically split into grid. So for example, I am giving a data list as a 6 fraction and 6 fraction. Then obviously it will distribute evenly. Depends on how you want to present your content. So this is one concept of data list. Data list one below another or one beside another. You can arrange in a grid style also. So this is another example, data list as data list in grid style. Grid style we can apply. So this is example. There is another way of data list. That means usually we use data list terms, definitions for designing complicated navigation bars also. That means, for example, I will show another design of this. Another is suppose we have data term, and remember in this data list you can put anything, normal text also. It's not like only terms and definitions, a paragraph, but data list have a special indentation. It will apply for all of them. Suppose I am giving, this is like shopper. Okay. In the data term, I'm giving an option like suppose electronics and a data definition, and I will remove the data list grid style. Okay. And I'm just using this. Electronics means televisions, so mobiles, so watches, like this I given. Okay, like this, let's copy. So many categories are present related to electronics. Another data term is suppose footwear. So I given some sneakers. So we have like boots. So we have like casuals. Okay. Here I'm adding so many here. Footwear related some contents I'm adding. Just roughly we have these things. Now you see you have lot of content here. And what I will do is for data list width is suppose 300. That looks fine. 200 also looks okay. Now this is just a simple navigation. And what is the special here? One technique you can apply here. So under electronics, so many are there. And I am scrolling here. When I'm scrolling, it scrolls and it shows all the content. After certain stage, footwear will come. So we can do one thing here. What is the special here is data term. Data term, I will make position as sticky position for terms. Data term will be sticky. Where to stick? Top at 0 pixel it should stick. Then what happens when I am scrolling? It is moving. When it reaches top 0, it sticks there. Rest of content I can scroll. And I go to the footwear will stick there. Rest of content, these are all footwear related. So this is very commonly used to make the header always visible. Heading always visible. You are browsing through so many categories, but heading is always visible. This is a sticky position. This is a sticky position. So actually you will see this in many websites, like you see suppose some Inox movies. When you see the Inox movies or something, you observe here, they have a lot of content to show you. And what you observe is there is a QuickBook toolbar is here. When we start the page, it is in the center. When I scroll down, you see it is scrolling up. After reaching top here header, what automatically it is going to stick there and rest of content will scroll behind. So that is a sticky position. That means it will stay where it is. It will scroll up to certain point. After that it sticks. It is not just 0. You can make it stick at any place. I will stick at 50, top 50. That means what will happen after reaching top 50, it will stick there. That doesn't look great. So that's the reason I keep it up to the top. You can stick anywhere because suppose if your header is up to here, you have to stick there. That depends on how your content is there, right? So top 0 looks okay. That means you can keep the sticky position and it will display. So here, what is one new thing is here CSS sticky position. CSS have a lot of positions you will learn. So here we are using a sticky position. So what is sticky position is it keeps element according to the normal, according to the flow of document. It keeps element according to the flow of document content, according to the flow of document content. And what happens is it allows to scroll the content up to specified units, top or left. You can use any direction, top or left or right. It depends on what you are designing. It allows to scroll the content and it sticks the element at specified position. It sticks the element at specified position, allowing other elements to scroll in backdrop, allowing other elements to scroll in backdrop. So backdrop is behind that element. That is the sticky position. And how I designed this is simple. Actually, data term is there. So data term, some effects I will give later. Position is sticky. And where to keep it sticky? Top. At 0 pixel, I'm keeping it sticky. This is mostly used when there is lot of content to scroll. When a lot of content is there to scroll, then we use this. Alignments you can keep center, left, right, anywhere. Actually, you will see this kind of content in, suppose I think you see in Netflix also. They add lot of effects for that. It's not sticky. Terms and definitions. For example, you see Netflix, you can see in the Netflix, they have FAQs, frequently asked questions. This is a term and a definition opens. Definition opens. But that they are adding some effects, hiding, showing logic, some functionality through JavaScript, Bootstrap and all. We can design these type of things. It is nothing but term and definition. Term and definition. In definition, you can put paragraphs. You can put anything inside them. So the terms and definitions can be displayed like this. The terms and definitions can display like this, right? There are different kinds of contents you can design. This is one concept, data list. Data list is a collection of terms and definitions. That is one list. So I will copy this example Just this is the example. Next important in list is we have ordered list. Ordered list. Ordered list is nothing but, so ordered list, it sets auto numbering for items in a list. So numbering updates automatically when you add or remove item from list. Numbering updates automatically when you add or remove item from list. And here list is defined with OL and items are defined using LI. LI is list item, ordered list and list item. Syntactically, how you do this? We have an OL in that LI. This is item 1. We have LI. This is item 2. So, and close, ordered list close. So, the default numbering type is 1. So you can change the number type as you can change the number type as Roman letters, lowercase, uppercase, alphabet, uppercase, lowercase, number. You can put this. That means syntactically what you can do, OL type is A. We can add like that. That means numbering will be A, B, C, D. Default numbering is 1, 2, 3. You can change the numbering to A, B, C. You can change the numbering to Roman letters, lowercase, uppercase. Actually, we can put the numbering in fractions also, but that is done with CSS. Fractional numbering means what? 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, like that fractions you can define with CSS. Here they have only 5. You have uppercase, lowercase, alphabet, uppercase, lowercase, Roman, and you have a number. That means you can define the numbering type here. Actually, you saw last session. So this is which one? LeetCode. Yeah. You saw in the LeetCode design, they are having line numbers. That means for every item numbering is there. For every line there is a numbering. Even for a blank line there is a numbering. That means how do you set the numbering? And actually this numbering will automatically update when you add or remove anything. I remove something, then it will update. I add something, it will update. Numbering updates automatically when you add or remove. How you will set a numbering like that? So you just use this option. So we have an OL. OL is ordered list. LI, list item. This is HTML, LI, CSS, LI, JavaScript, like this. And automatically you can see the numbering will be like 1, 2, 3. By default, it gives the numbering 1, 2, 3. And suppose I'm adding after CSS one more list item, empty. It will be 3 empty. Right? You can keep anything here, some bootstrap, then automatically it will update that. Numbering type we can change. What is the numbering type? By default type is 1, 2, 3. You can put ABC, it will get ABC. You can put Roman, so it will get Roman. Actually, if I put ABC, after, general in computer technologies, what happens after Z, A to Z, after that, A B, AC, AZ, BA, BZ, AAA, it follows the technique, right? So if there are many numbers, then just we use 1, 2, 3 default. Another option is there. You can also decide from which level to start the numbering. We can also decide from which level to start the numbering. You can change. You can change the numbering start position. So you can change the numbering start position. How you can change the start position? So by using level number, So we have OL, type is 1, and start is 101. That means it will start with 101. Start with 41, start with 100, start with some 7, 8, anything. From which number it have to start. Numbering usually starts with 1. You can decide from where to start. You can use that attribute start. So type, it defines the numbering type and start. And remember, start is always a level number. For example, I give an OL, type is equal to ABC. Start is equal to, I want to start with E. So you should not type E, because start is not a character. Start is an level number. E level number is how much? 5. Here always a level number only. It's not from where to start. From which level to start. We have to mention which level to start. So usually it is starting. Then I give an here as what? Start. Start with 101. It starts with 101. So I want to start with some 51. It starts with 51. Right? And I given here start with 5. It will start with 5. And if it is ABC, then it will be EFGH. If I write here E, it will not work, because this is a level number. Level number, you have to just mention from which level to start. Then it will start with that level number. So you can set any level number and it will start with that level number. So that is, you can decide where to start. Actually, in recent version, they introduced a concept called reversed, but that is not very much used everywhere, not suitable, required everywhere. But they have one new option. You can reverse the numbering style, the numbering order, actually order. How you can do is syntactically, you can say OL, type is 1, you can put as reversed. You can put reversed attribute. It will put a reverse numbering. Reverse numbering means 4, 3, 2, 1. It puts a reverse numbering. Why do I need that? Why do we need? Because these days we are using single page applications and all. Everything is watched on one page. Then your YouTube or Facebook, their behavior. Some websites, what they do, they load the latest one top, old one down. Some websites, how they do, they load the new one bottom, old one top. That means if you want a reverse way of displaying, latest top, old bottom. So the such numberings, if you want to give numbering for them, then you can add here. You can add, suppose if it is 1, starting at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just given as what? Reverse. That it will put a reverse numbering. So you don't give the start, then it will be like 4, 3, 2, 1. Suppose I given start from 2. If start from 2, so then what will happen? First one will be 2, second one will be 1. After that 0, -1, -2. That doesn't look any great appearance. This is okay for displaying certain list. But remember, it is not reversing your items. It is reversing only number. Your item is not reversed. That is all manually done with JavaScript. Through logics program, we arrange content like that. CSS also have that facility. In CSS, we learn display flex, flex direction, row reverse, column reverse. We can do that. I will show in different other example. I will show that. Initially, reversed numbering also there. Reverse number. If I use ABC, then it will be B, after B, A, after A, minus AB. Yeah. So after there is no negative alphabet. Again, it will put 0, 1, -1, same. So these are not reasonable. These are not reasonable. But you have that. If you don't have any negative start, then you can set a reverse numbering style. That is just a new one. You have this in the ordered list. Another important is actually you can create nested list. You can create nested list, but but make sure that a child list is configured inside li element, is configured inside li element. So here actually why I given this point, because if you don't write inside, you write below, also it works. But that is not good code. Already I told you, we discussed now one point. We discussed that good code, bad code. That, so if not important, later also you will learn. Good code, bad code is nothing but when you learn some language, some programming, some technologies, what you learn is your trainers or somebody teaches you some shortcuts. And some shortcuts, some coding styles, they may teach you. And those shortcuts will work when you try practicing them, working with them, they will work. But some are not recommended. Some are not recommended. Why? Because they may lead to some technical failures in future. That's the reason we don't want our developers to write code in a bad coding technique. You have to always follow a good coding techniques. So what we do is, in all real world project development, we install and set up code analyzers. We have code analyzing softwares. Code analyzing softwares, code means good code, bad code means I will tell you. Suppose I am writing a if condition. If condition is there. This if condition on true, what it should do, on else, what it should do. This is just a concept. Just generally, when condition is true, I will show here. If when condition is true, a block in the true statements, else in block we put false statements. We do like this. Now generally in many places where you learn programming and all, that the person who trains you, who is teaching you about some conditions and all, he may show you that if you can write a condition and you can put true directly, else you can put false directly. So what is missing? These braces are missing. And everybody, almost everyone who learns C programming, Java programming, .NET programming, everybody knows this, right? Everybody knows that. And they see that there is no curly brace. They say that this is if you write like this also it works, right? But this is bad code. That is not good code. It may work, but in several occasions it will lead to several issues. Means the point is, what is the purpose of this curly brace? It tells the compiler where to start, where to stop. Without writing that, what you are trying to tell? Without writing that, what you are trying to tell? You are trying to tell that I will not tell where to start and stop. You guess. Time waste. You are wasting its time. This is not shortcut. That is nonsense. This is not shortcut. That is completely rubbish code. That means we don't want like this. It's waste compiler time, right? That means you are not telling where to start and stop. Then how it knows where to start and stop? It will take some time in understanding it. It wastes the time. So for example, I will show you so many code analyzing softwares are there. PMD, Sonar, ESLint, ESLint. These are all some code analyzing tools, code analyzing softwares. Every software programmer knows about them. Every software programmer understands and learns about them. He knows and he uses also. What is PMD, Sonar, ESLint, and all these are code analyzers, code analyzing softwares. We generally use them in our software development. Every programming people know about them. I will show you PMD, Sonar, how they look like. This is actually PMD. So this is the PMD dot git, right? Yeah, PMD is there. Yeah, this is the PMD. Yeah, this is the PMD. Yeah, this is PMD. It is a code analyzer. It is a code analyzing tool. For example, I will show you documentation. In the documentation, you see rule reference. In the rule reference, Java rules, HTML rules, JavaScript rules, PLSQL rules, all technology related rules are there. Suppose I will go to any JavaScript rules or Java rules anywhere. Coding style. In the coding style best practices, you see now here, I am showing you some coding styles. Suppose you see, if you see, if condition and curly brace and else, and here there is no curly brace and they are saying bad, and somebody tells you that it is shortcut, that's not good, right? That means who is saying bad? That means people who designed that language, they are saying bad. And who are you after all to tell a shortcut about it, right? That means your faculty may be 20 years experience, your trainer may be 25 years experience, but he cannot misguide you in certain aspects of compiling. That means generally to satisfy you, to entertain you, he may tell you some shortcuts, saying that see, this much lengthy is there, you can do it in a short way. But what is the problem with that short way is abnormal in behavior, and we don't want any abnormal in behavior. Abnormal in behavior means what? In one situation it will not work, in another situation it will work. We don't want to take any chance. If any developer in real time try to put these kind of techniques he learnt, then immediately the editor will give a warning, don't do this, this is bad, right? These are code analyzing tools. We set up in our projects. and our developers while writing, it will immediately show warnings saying that this is bad, this is bad. Why I have to explain this? Because when I talk about nested list, see why I am explaining this, because when I talk about nested list, suppose this is a list. Under HTML, some topics I want. Then what we do, this is HTML list item. Under that list item, I am adding another ordered list. This type I will give as A. In that list item, I given normal elements. I given list item as void elements. Now you see, when I look at them, it looks these are two under it. But this is bad. Why it is bad? It may look like they are they are a part of HTML, but they are not linked to HTML. They are not at all linked to HTML. They may look like that. Technically, they are not linked actually. That means, suppose if I remove HTML, these should be removed, right? But see, if I remove HTML, they are still there. So that means later it will fail because they doesn't belong to it. Then how do you make sure that these belong to it? That's what I said. You have to keep that not below. We have to keep that inside. That means inside HTML list item, you have to keep the child list. Child list must be inside, not below. In the appearance, they look same as it is. Both look same. But this is good. The previous is bad. That means how it looks, how it gives output is not important. Will it perform same in every situation is important. And for that, we have to avoid bad coding techniques, because in HTML, lot of people follow that. Means they show in the output, it is visually good, but technically it is failed, because later it will call lot of issues in that. So you can create a nested list, but make sure that the child list is configured inside LIN, not below, inside LIN. You can, and there is nothing like how many levels I can give. How many levels I can give like this? There is no limit for that. But problem is how many level numberings you have? 5. You can give 1, 2, 3. You can give Roman 1, uppercase, lowercase. You can give alphabet, uppercase, lowercase. After 5, again you have to repeat your numbering, or you have to put a combination of symbol, number and all. So there is nothing like what is the limit of levels. There is no limit of levels. Suppose under normal elements, I want some more. Then what is that? In normal elements list, I will put another ordered list. Here we will put a type as Roman, and I will keep a list item here. List item is what? Suppose normal elements means, so here I will give just like bold. So here I will put like some italic. So you can see these are under it. You can keep any level of numbering like that. Right? So that is one basic example. That means the basic point here, how you can keep the numbering. That means child list. Syntactically, what is recommended? So we have a list item. So parent, and inside the list item, so this is child. This is the correct way of designing. So under that parent, you have to configure it. That is the right way of designing. So this is a nested list. I will copy this. One nested list is there. I will keep that nested list here. And I hope some questions you can answer now. For example, if anyone asks how to display the list side by side. I want list in 2 columns. You see question answers, how they give A, B, C, D side by side. List items are by default one below another. I want side by side. You know what to do. So we have to keep them in line. inline. How to display in 2 columns, 3 columns? You can use grid or you can use columns. Yesterday you saw columns. What is advantage of columns? They will give you continuous. Continuous. That means you see here. Suppose I am creating multiple columns. Multiple columns is nothing but just example here. We have an ordered list and the type is 1. In that, so I'm giving a list item. In this list item, I will give so dash element doesn't require something, require end token, something like this. And here I am giving an unordered list again. So type is what? A. I will keep this class as child list, right? And here we are using a list item as normal. So void. So we have RC. We have like raw text, something like this we define. And usually it will display in this way. Now child list must be displayed side by side in 2 columns or 3 columns or side by side. Then what we do? We will write here style. What is it? Child list. I will not use OL because all are OL. Parent also is OL. So child list. What is child list? In the child list, wherever list item is present, li, what it should be displaying what? Inline. Inline means it will keep side by side, but it removes numbering. Then you have one more technique. It should not remove such numbering. Then what you do? List, child list must display flex. Flex means it will keep side by side. Side by side. And you know you need to adjust the space. That means in the child list, every list item will have margin right as 100 pixel, then it will give some space. Or of course, you know justify content na, right? You can put your own margins or just you keep what? Justify content as what? Space around, space between you can keep. And child list must have margin top 20 or 30 pixel or 40 pixel. It will have some gap. I think 20 is enough. It looks like this. And space around, space evenly, space between your wish. You can put anything you want. But another concept is sometimes you will see, this is one example I will copy. This is one example I will copy. Suppose I want in 2 columns, then what to do? Don't use display flex now. What we do? Display is what? Grid. Grid template columns. How many fractions? 6 fraction and 6 fraction. Then automatically it will be in 2 columns. But see the order. A, B, side by side it is coming. I want continuous. A below B. Then we will not use display grid. We will not use continuous columns we want. Then we will use what? Columns. How many columns? 2. Enough. A, B, C, D. The order of numbering you can decide according to your design. This is how we create nested list. We can configure the nested list and display the nested list. This is ordered list. Similarly, you have unordered list. Unordered list means you can put symbols. Instead of number, we can put symbols. You can put your own symbols. Star symbol, hand symbol, tag symbols. How you do that? That we'll see in next session. Right, first you try up to this. In the next session, we will learn how to use unordered list. Now with all this knowledge, we can create some complicated designs now. That means just like LeetCode, just like Flipkart, we can design so many things. That we'll see in next session. Monday we'll see that. Okay.